A not so subtle warning from the Prime Minister today. Justin Trudeau said Canada may be at the back of the vaccine line. Why? Because we don't have domestic manufacturing capabilities to mass produce vaccines here. He suggested that other countries that do have that capacity, the United States, the UK, and Germany, may give their citizens vaccines first before Canadians get theirs, despite the fact Canada's put down money to buy these vaccines. This is a serious reality check as we hear that Americans might get vaccinated as early, get this, as December 11th. Where do we go wrong? What's being done to assure that Canada's not caught short? Let's bring in the Innovation, Science and Industry Minister, Navdeep Bains. Minister Bains, always good to have you on the program. Can you clarify what the Prime Minister said when he said that the other countries might get their citizens a vaccine first before Canada gets their doses? What do our contracts actually say?
Evan, I think it's important to manage expectations, which is that we need to explain to Canadians that we did everything possible to pursue options for international vaccine candidates. We also invested in a domestic vaccine candidate in Medicago, and that needs to go through an approval process through Health Canada. Once that approval process is complete, then we will make sure that we get the vaccine distributed to Canadians. But there is a sequence to this. There is a process to this, and it's important that people understand that we are following that process and that we will not compromise on the health and safety of Canadians.
Navdeep Bains, I got to ask you again because I'm not sure you answered this question. The question is not the process of Health Canada. It is the Prime Minister seemed to suggest that Pfizer, Moderna, and other companies are going to give their countries access to the vaccine before Canadians get it, even though we put money down on the dose. So can you tell Canadians that we will get our doses in the first batch that we paid for, or are we at the back of the line?
I can assure Canadians that we are following the process, which is we pursued the vaccine candidates. Once they get approved, we will make sure they get distributed. I think that's important to note. If there is clearly steps that need to be taken, and we're going to follow those steps. On a per capita basis, there's 9 doses available to Canadians. That's the highest amongst any country in the world. We've built a strong vaccine portfolio, and we're confident that in the meantime, as these vaccines go through the approval process, we're going to move forward on the distribution aspect of it as well. And there's a lot of planning going on behind the scenes.
Okay, but we bought 6 million. I just want to be specific. We bought 6 million doses from Pfizer and Moderna, and we've said, Health Canada, that we're going to get those in the first quarter of 2021. The Prime Minister today, sir, seemed to suggest that we may have to wait. I'm going to play you the clip in a minute because I've got it queued up. What did he exactly mean when he said they are going to give their citizens the doses first? Tell me what he meant by that.
You have to realize that these countries, that some of them where they have these international vaccine candidates that we pursued, are producing them domestically. We in Canada are building up our domestic production capability. So when it comes to early in 2021, next year, early 2021, we will make sure that Canadians get access to the vaccine because we have these purchase orders in place. Now, the sequencing of that versus other countries may differ, but again, we're going to go through the approval process. We've made the purchases.
No, but hold on, stop. So hold on. But hold on. This is, I got to be clear here. Navdeep Bains, look, this is the most important thing to most Canadians. I understand we originally put $12 million at the University of Saskatchewan Vaccine and Infectious Diseases to try to build up a domestic vaccine supply, $44 million to the National Research Council. The Prime Minister said today, though, that I don't even know what happened to that because we clearly don't have the capacity to produce it, according to the Prime Minister. So let me zero in on this again, because you're the Minister of Industry. In the contracts that Canada signed specifically for Pfizer and Moderna, do those contracts ensure that we get our doses before every American would get theirs, as the Prime Minister seemed to suggest? There's nothing to prevent Canadians from getting an early dose, access to those doses. Is that right?
Subject to Health Canada approval. That's the key element here, that it has to be approved. The science matters, the clinical trials matter, and it's important that we follow the process. And you're absolutely right. We made investment in the National Research Council to build up our domestic capabilities. We did invest in Vital Intervac. We, for example, today announced investment in our facilities in the Vancouver Accelera company, the biotech company. So we're very proud of those investments. But it's important to note that until a vaccine is not approved by Health Canada, we will not be in a position to distribute them.
No. Minister, I feel like I'm just banging my head against a wall here. I know that we've invested those, but the Prime Minister said today that those are not going to help in this pandemic. So that horse has left the barn. That's for another pandemic, so let's forget about that. I'm going to play you this clip of the Prime Minister. I understand we need Health Canada's approval, but just listen to what the Prime Minister said, Minister. Check this out.
Sure, absolutely.
Any domestic production capacity for vaccines. We used to have it decades ago, but we no longer have it. Countries like the United States, Germany, and the UK do have domestic pharmaceutical facilities, which is why they're obviously going to prioritize helping their citizens first.
Okay. They are going to, obviously, he said, they will serve their citizens first. Again, this is everybody's trying to parse out what he said. Please, I understand if Health Canada approves these, and we hope it does, are they going to serve their citizens first, Minister Bains, before Canadians get access to the vaccine? Yes or no? It's a pretty clear question.
We will make sure that the commitment that was made in the purchase order will be followed through on. So if we ordered these doses, Canadians will receive them subject to an approval. I think I can't be more blunt and more clear than that, Evan. I think it's important to note that the Prime Minister was being very candid with Canadians that our domestic production capabilities are not as strong as some of the other jurisdictions. And we have made investments, but they will take time to come to fruition. But in the meantime, we pursue these promising international vaccine candidates. And once they get approved by Health Canada, we will distribute them to Canadians. It's plain and simple, and that's the process we're going to follow.
Right. No, I get that. Once they get approved, I hope we do. But the Prime Minister seemed to suggest that we might not still get them until they all get their citizens. But, okay, Mr. Bains, I got to leave it there today. I always appreciate having you on the program. And I know I seem like a hammer on a nail today, but this is a really big issue, and I appreciate it.
I totally understand. This is really important to Canadians. All hands on deck. This is Team Canada at its best. We're working with the provinces, not only to make sure that we secure these vaccines, but that we distribute them in a safe and secure manner for Canadians.
Right. But we got to get them so we can distribute them. All right, Minister Bains, I appreciate it. Thank you.